turn that off. So, guys, Manchester United returned to Premier League action on Monday evening at home to Newcastle United on match day 19 of the 24-25 Premier League season. It is an 8 o'clock home evening kickoff at Old Trafford, and with major circulation going around on social media this afternoon and this evening that there are rumours already that Ruben Amirom is in danger of the sack already. For me, he's not even been here 5 minutes. Ruben Amirom hasn't really got to work his masterclass that he's trying to get at Manchester United. He hasn't had really that much time to work his effect on trying to turn these players into world-class elite footballers who represent the fans on and off the pitch for Manchester United. And already the rumours are starting to circulate already that a few more results the way we've seen lately and a few more bad performances, it would not surprise me in the slightest that Manchester United start already looking for a replacement for Ruben Amirom. I'm not surprised. I've seen all this before. I've seen this pantomime. I've seen this circus, and I've seen this joke on wheels that Manchester United are slowly but surely starting to become, even though it's been like this now for the last 11 years, approaching year 12 since we last won the Premier League title under our former great in Sir Alex Ferguson. If Manchester United make a mockery of Ruben Amirom and they end up sacking him, this would be, for me, the biggest step backwards for this football club. I know the last few results have been bad. We've conceded 9 goals in our last 3 games. We're already at the Carabao Cup, so that's 1 out of 3 chances of European football already gone. We are in danger of seriously going down this season. We're only 8 points above the current bottom 3, which contains all 3 promoted clubs in Southampton, Ipswich Town and Leicester City. And if Manchester United keep creeping nearer and nearer that dreaded bottom 3, the realistic chances of us going down could be substantial. And also rumours today that Manchester United are also on the verge of going bankrupt because Romano put out an Instagram post. Obviously, I'm no longer on Instagram. And Romano put out a statement on Insta that someone managed to share on social on his Here We Go section that he has on his Instagram page, that the January transfer window, if Manchester United fans are expecting anything, Romano has basically come out and said, don't expect nothing to happen because Manchester United have basically got no money. Manchester United are skint. They can't do any business in January. That could be players in as well as players out. Romano's basically said, forget anything happening in January. For me, this has got alarm bells written all over it because I have seen this before. When we had Ten Hag and we lost Ronaldo, we ended up going into that January transfer window, bringing in a backup goalkeeper in Jack Butland, who never kicked a ball for this football club, which was a joke of a signing. We brought in Weghorst to replace Ronaldo. And we brought in Marcel Sabitzer, which today I still can't understand why we didn't sign permanently because he did such a fantastic job in that midfield. And the signs are already there that the players are already turning on Amirom. They don't like the way he sets them up. They don't want to change the way they've used to be playing. And they clearly have given up. And after a few bad results, I've kind of seen this coming. I've kind of seen, in my view, that give it a few bad results, give it a few bad performances, and any chances of European football not happening, these players will quickly turn on the manager. And I think by the last 3 results and the last 3 performances, it's not really a big surprise that this is already happening. And I fear for Ruben Amirom. I do fear for this manager because, in my view, if we lose Monday, that would be 4 defeats in a row. We can't afford to go into 2025 with 4 defeats in all competitions. because 2025 for Manchester United is already looking very tough. And if we don't beat Newcastle on Monday, which we now need to do, this becomes a 3-point relegation battle win that we need. Then Ruben Amirom is going to face very, very tough questioning from the media, from the press, and there will be critics jumping on him with every opportunity they get. And another defeat, it could be the final nail in the Ruben Amirom coffin. I don't want that to happen. I think Ruben Amirom is the right manager to lead this club forward. And you can see a style of play, you can see an identity, and you can see what Manchester United in some aspects are trying to do on the pitch. But when you've got players that can't do that, and you've got players who are not willing to try and are not willing to give it a go and are not willing to put the effort in, are you surprised that Manchester United are in the mess that they are in? This is our worst run since 1932, and I wasn't even born. That, for me, is an absolute disgrace. I am not blaming Ruben Amirom for this mess. I can't blame the manager. And people saying, well, he is picking the team and he is picking the players. And I've said it myself. He is picking the team, he's picking these players, and it's his head on the line if the performances go pear-shaped, which they have. The last three have proven quite a lot where Manchester United are currently on performance and level of quality. We're nowhere near it. We are in deep, deep trouble. If the rumours are true that we're on the verge of bankruptcy, because yesterday, a rumour that is currently true, Sir Jim Ratcliffe had to borrow money to put in a minority stake to purchase a minority share in Manchester United Football Club. That money was borrowed off Elon Musk and another firm that I don't have credentials or any research on, but Sir Jim Ratcliffe had to borrow money just to put in this minority stake. And that money, unfortunately, has now gone on the debt. Manchester United are nearly £600 to £700 million in debt. We owe 331 million in transfer fees to other clubs. Manchester United, if the January transfer window doesn't provide anything and we continue to go on this losing run, the real possibility, Manchester United could get relegated. For me, that might be the only way that Manchester United ever get back to restoring glory, because the club is clearly rotten from top to bottom. We are clearly in danger of getting cut adrift. We're in danger of slipping closer to the bottom three. And we are clearly suffering a crisis where these players have clearly given up already. And Ruben Amrim's not been here 5 minutes. And if you can't beat Newcastle, I think the outcome of this is all going to end in tears again. After every manager we've had since Sir Alex Ferguson, if Ruben Amirom suffers the same fate and gets sacked, then I don't know where we go. I don't know where we would turn. And I do not know what direction this club would go in if we sack another manager. And people say, well, the manager has to take responsibility. And that is a good claim. That is a good opinion. That is a great view. But if you want to keep sacking the manager and repeating the cycle, some fans will want that. Some supporters will want that. To keep repeating the cycle, sack the manager, blame him, make it out like it's all Ruben Amrim's fault. For me, this happened with Moyes, Van Gaal, Mourinho, Solskjaer, Rangnick, Ten Hag. Ruben Amirom is going to suffer the same fate. I've already seen this written in the stars. You might as well get the Tiny Temper song on right now. This is written in the stars that this is going to go wrong. That's already been seen. It's not been seen yet, but it's going to happen. The same fate will happen to Amirom because of this football club. And they've left him in a really, really shit position because the rumours there's no money are true. So we are stuck with players that we can't get rid of. We are stuck with players we can't get out this team. And we are stuck with spoiled little individual shits who do not want to leave. And yes, they've got a right to remain at this football club. They are under contract. But based on these last three performances, Ineos, Ruben Amirom, and Manchester United have got to pull their head out of their ass and fucking do something very, very quickly. Because we can't carry on like this at the start of the new year. Because if you lose to Newcastle, our next two games are away to Liverpool at Anfield, where another 7-up could happen, and we're in danger of going at the FA Cup in a third round and our defence of the trophy eliminated because we're away to Arsenal at the Emirates. If we go with 6 defeats in a row, Ruben Amirom for me has got nowhere to hide. But I can't blame him. You've got to back this manager. But the problem is, these players are the ones responsible for their performances. We've got players throwing their toys out the pram. We've got players getting their own way again. And clearly, Player FC is regaining its momentum at Manchester United, where the players will underline the manager, throw him under the bus, and blame him for making it all go wrong. If you want to blame Ruben Amirom, you've got every right to criticise and blame him. Some of the team selections and some of the options on the bench have been quite laughable. And some of the way we've been set up with certain individuals that have long outstayed their welcome have been getting a chance still. For me, Ruben Amirom has got to learn. If you want to move forward, players like Harry Maguire, players like Onana, players like Dalot, Bruno Fernandes, Christian Eriksen, Casemiro, Joshua Zirkzee, Rasmus Højlund, Anthony, Marcus Rashford, Tom Heaton, Bandia, Victor Lindelof, Johnny Evans, Malacia, Luke Shaw. That is 16 players I can name already that should no longer be at this club. But I've noticed with Amirom, there's a lot of players amongst those 16 that really need to be told, you are going, or we are just going to terminate your contract. You're not getting your own way. A lot of those 16 have still been given an opportunity in these last 3 games. I can't understand, is Ruben Amirom doing this deliberately and sabotaging our season to make a statement to Ineos, the Glazers, and the football club to get rid of the shit that ain't good enough? Or is Ruben Amirom being dictated to by the excuses of there is no money to spend in January, PSR's a fucking big problem again, financial fair play is going to come into a dramatic conclusion, and we basically have to sell to buy? I think for me, if we lose to Newcastle, we can't go into January and do fuck all. Because if we do fuck all and we sit there and watch everyone around us strengthen, Manchester United will just keep falling further and further behind their rivals. Because it's already embarrassing enough, some of the teams that already are above us in the Premier League table. Clubs like West Ham are now above Manchester United, Fulham, Brighton, Bournemouth, Villa, Newcastle, Forest. The list goes on of how many clubs we are moving further and further away from because we can't compete with their level of quality and level of backing that their managers are getting, and the players they're bringing in are elite quality. It's at Manchester United, we're trying to scrape the barrel. We're basically looking for scraps. And I think that's my big fear in January. If we don't spend and we go with the same players and the same squad till the end of the season, the conclusion and the outcome of this is going to be no European football next season, in danger of not even being in the Premier League anymore, being in the Championship and being relegated for the second time ever in United's history. The last time that happened, we were being managed by George Graham, the ex-Arsenal reject. And look how that ended for him at Arsenal. We got relegated on the final day when Dennis Law went to Man City and scored the winning goal. I can still remember that because I've watched that game. I witnessed that based on the videos and the highlights I've seen of that dark day for this football club. And again, we might have to go through this darkness. We might have to go through this tough patch. And the reality is relegation might be the only way. But the problem is we are going to have let half this squad go Because if we go to the Championship, there's wage restrictions. There's a certain wage budget that Manchester United have to abide by. Manchester United don't seem to have a clue what they're doing off the pitch as well as on the pitch. And Ineos, I think for me, have made the situation worse when they really should have brought 110% of this football club and brought the Glazers out. For me, since Ineos have been here, things have got worse. Things haven't got any better. What has Sir Jim Ratcliffe actually done? What's Sir Jim Ratcliffe and his band of Muppets actually done to this club? I haven't seen any improvement. I've not seen things be improved off the pitch. We've got a stadium that is falling to pieces. We've got a squad that is massively dead. We've got players that should not be at Manchester United Football Club. We've got a team that looks completely broken. We've got a brand new manager who's miles better than Ten Hag, who has basically been being let out to dry. He's being fed to the wolves. The clear indication from me already, not just from the players, but from Ineos, the Glazers and the football club as a whole, there's one mission and there's one mission only. Is to sack this manager, blame him and scapegoat him. That's my clear indication. That's my clear vision. That's my indication of where we're going. The clear indication, we want to get rid of the manager. Let's blame him, make it out like it's all his fault and blame him for the results. Blame him for the certain team selections, blame him for the bench options, blame him for dropping Rashford and this, that and the other. It's all right blaming the manager. And if you want to repeat the cycle, you've got some fans and supporters at Manchester United who like that cycle. They're basically a bike. Some fans and supporters in this football club, you're basically a bike because you're repeating the cycle every fucking day because you feel like that's the best direction we need to go in. The biggest problem at this football club is those players. And the problem is these players are getting away with it. And a lot of these players will play against Newcastle. In my view, they shouldn't be. Ruben Amirom needs to put his fucking foot down and say no. You're not in the squad. You're not in the team. You are never playing for Manchester United again. And you can't use injuries as an excuse. We can't use that anymore. I don't care if Lindelof's injured. I don't care if Mount's injured. I don't care if Shaw's injured. I don't give a fuck about them because none of those three are good enough. I don't care anymore. Those three should have been gone a long time ago, and all three of them are still here. They should have never, ever have been kept on. Soon as Mason Mount picks up all these injuries, Man United should have got rid. Luke Shaw, they're too scared to terminate his contract because of the years of service he's offered to this club. They're too scared to get rid of Lindelof because they don't want to lose him for free. That's Manchester United in a nutshell. They're too sentimental and too careful to get rid of the dead wood. And then Ruben Amirom is then having to pick a squad that contains this dead shit. You can't polish a turd. It's like going for a dump and the toilet will not flush because the dump is too thick, too long, and the toilet can't flush it in one full flush. That is Manchester United in a nutshell. We've got all these players that are full of shit and we're trying to flush them all out at the same time. And we can't do it because of the ridiculous contracts and ridiculous wages that these current bag of shithouses are. I'm sorry. Enough's enough now. If you're Ruben Amirom, you put your foot down on Monday and say no. I am not picking Malacia. I'm not picking Maguire. I'm not picking Delo. I'm not picking Xerxes, and I'm not picking Højlund, and I'm not using Anthony. Ruben Amirom has got to be given full authority on who he wants and who he doesn't want. And clearly Ineos are dictating. You've got two hands tied behind your back, Amirom. We're dictating. We're running the football club. It's not up to you to make the decisions. We make the decisions on and off the pitch. And if that comes to team selections, we will do it. Well, that's what happens when you've got Muppets running this club. Ineos have made the structure worse. I wish we had that full takeover because the debt would have gone. We'd have had a state-of-the-art stadium built. We'd have had a brand new team, a brand new manager. And then you look at what came out the other day. When we gave Ten Hag that contract extension, we were still looking for new managers, even though we kept Ten Hag on. So clearly Ineos don't understand football. In terms of trying to solve a problem, they're making the problems even worse because Ineos' knowledge of football isn't there. They don't have the credentials to understand what football's about. They may be, all these great businessmen. Do you know what? At the end of the day, fair play. You're doing a good job, whatever you earn money from. At the end of the day, what are you offering this football club? What's the direction you're taking us in? Because I don't see a vision. I don't see a path. I don't see a success. It's like you've got it's like going down a path and you've got one path going that way and you've got one path going that way. And we don't know what path to take. We are stuck in the middle at a crossroads. We don't know where to go. It's like we need to get Google Maps to tell us where to go. And I don't see this direction under Ineos. I think the appointment of Amirom is fantastic. I think he's the right manager. And I think he'll get us back to where we need to be. But they're throwing him under the bus and they're going to already scapegoat him and blame him for the results. Yeah, the results have been shit. But look at what he's got to work with. He's got so much shit that he doesn't rate. That ain't good enough. And Amirom has figured that out so quickly. And people say it's going to take months. It's going to take weeks. No. Amrim's already figured out the amount of crap he's got, he's having to use. The amount of shit that he's got this football club, he's already identified. But he's being dictated by budget and availability. He's being dictated by the bullshit excuses that Manchester United are coming up with. And I'm afraid to say, the team isn't exactly going to be that great Monday. Because the options we don't have, I don't understand how we're going to win. I'm struggling to pinpoint how the hell we are going to win this game on Monday. Because our options now are very, very fucking limited, especially with the crisis we're now in again. And unfortunately, this is Manchester United. We don't have good options. We don't have good options off the bench. We don't even have a good fucking starting 11. What decent players do we have at this football club? Name me one. Name me two. Because I'm struggling to identify that. The only hope, the only player I have got full faith in at the moment is Ahmad. And he's so young still. And yes, he's got a lot to learn. And yes, he's still trying to get that elite level that Ahmad is trying to get access to. It's going to take time with Ahmad. But you look at his performances, you look at his encouragement, you look at his confidence, you look at his motivation. If you had a team full of Ahmads, look where we could be. Look at the level we could be at. Look at the consistency. Look at the performances and look at the results we could have if we had players like Ahmad's all in every position. We don't have that. We've got spoilt little babies who don't put the effort in, that don't fight on and off the ball and basically wave the white flag every opportunity they get on the pitch. That was noticeable yesterday. There is no response from anyone in that team. They drop their heads, they down tools, and they basically don't know where to turn to. They don't know how to respond. And that, for me, isn't good enough. That is a mentality problem. That is a mentality of players that don't know how to get out of a negative view when something goes against them or something goes wrong. And those players are responsible. Those players are responsible. But Amirom, again, I would still state, he's picking these players. He's picking the team. Wouldn't you thought already that you would have recognised where the problems are? Wouldn't you have already thought deep down, yeah, I am responsible. I need to look at this team in a bigger way. There's a lot of crap that the fans and the supporters see, and Amirom doesn't see it. I mean, I don't understand why Maguire gets so much game time. It's the same for Onana. It's the same for Delo. It's the same for Xerxes. It's the same for Højlund. It's the same for Fernandes. There's certain players in that team that have to be in that starting 11. And we just build the rest of the team around them, even though the identity and the way we're trying to play, some of those players can't do it because they are struggling to play with other players that may be bigger and better than them or weaker than them. And that's another problem. We've got too many players that are in and out of world-class, elite, and then shit. We are hovering between the middle. We're in the middle of shit. We've got players that can't play together, who clearly do not want to try as a team. There's a lot of individual FC going on again. And again, that's a big problem. We don't seem to be playing as a team. I don't know why that is. maybe there is a bigger problem. Maybe a lot of these players have figured each other out and basically know they could blame De Ligt for the problem. They could blame Mazraoui for the problem. They could blame Ahmad for the problem. I think a lot of these players don't like the criticism. They don't like it when they get shit. They don't like it when they get abuse. They don't like it when they get criticised. And I'm not here for sympathy. I'm not going to get my violin out for them because they're professional footballers. You should be performing and you're not doing it. And I don't know why you're not doing it. Please come out. I wish some of these United players would come out and just speak the truth. What is really going on? Because Amirom is the only one that tells it how it is. And I think that's the manager we need. We've needed someone who's not going to protect these players' asses for them. And he does call them out for their flops. And a lot of these players are flops. But again, Amirom is still picking these flops. We're picking Maguire because we don't want to lose him for free. And if the rumours are true, we're offering him a contract extension of a 1 year plus. Why are we doing that? Someone justify why we're giving Harry Maguire a 1 year plus contract extension. Because Man United don't want to lose him for free. They don't want to lose him for nothing. And if they give him that contract extension on that year plus, they feel like they can then get something from him in the summer. I'm sorry to say, Leicester laughed all the way to the bank because you gave them 80 million. And Leicester probably didn't even think in their view Harry Maguire's anywhere worth that. And Man United still gave in and gave them 80 million. And all of a sudden, he gets ahead of Ledy Yoro. He gets ahead of De Ligt. Is that because we are trying to give Harry Maguire this contract extension so we don't lose him for nothing? So it makes no sense because you've got a 60 million 18-year-old centre-back on your bench that gets less game time than Harry Maguire. What's that all about? You had De Ligt available yesterday and he didn't pick him. He didn't get any fucking minutes. And people will say, he has been ill. Give the guy a break. You can't just chuck him straight back in. I'm sorry to say, some fans need to wake up and get their head out of the sand. If De Ligt was available and De Ligt was fit and he was healthy and he was ready to play, there is no excuse yesterday not for him to start. There's no excuse. I don't care if he had a cold. I don't care if he's had a sore throat. I've been ill all fucking week. I've not been able to do a lot because I've been bedridden with a cold and a sore throat, and I'm still suffering today. It's been over a fucking week now, nearly. It'll be a week tomorrow since I became ill. But I still don't give up. I still carry on. I don't just wave the white fucking flag. You might as well get the Dido song on. Like, it's not difficult for Manchester United to fucking actually do something about lazy fucking individuals that don't want to graft it. De Ligt should have been in that team. Because look how uncomfortable that back three gets when there's no De Ligt. Because you're playing Maguire and Martinez together. That doesn't work. Martinez is only comfortable when De Ligt's in the team. He doesn't look comfortable with any other centre-back next to him. But yet, we still compromise and pick Maguire. You might as well just said to Yoro, don't bother turning up. We're not going to use you. We're not going to pick you. They clearly rate Maguire over Yoro, which I don't understand. I don't justify that. And if that wants to carry on, fine. You can keep picking Maguire, but watch the defensive work and the defensive rate go completely tits up when you keep picking Maguire. We paid good money for De Ligt, and all of a sudden he gets ill, not chucking him straight back in. We need to give him time. He was fit. He was available to start. There's no excuse. He should have been starting. Exactly. And Danny B has said in the chat, 100%, whoever gives Slabhead a new contract should be locked up. This is what I like. Players like Danny B in the live chat, fans like him in the live chat speak the sense, tell the truth. Massive shout to Danny B in the chat. Fucking tells it how it is. This is the type of supporters we need at this club, who speak the truth, who call it for what it is. And please subscribe, Danny B, if you knew, because you're telling the truth. Fair play to you for calling it out for what it is. Whoever gives him that new contract needs to be locked up, because it doesn't make any sense giving Maguire that contract. But I still fear they will because they don't want to lose him for nothing. That's idiotic management on transfers and trying to get rid of players. So it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if that happens. But this is why we have this fan base. Because Danny, if we could have all fans like Danny B in the live chat and myself and a load of others, the fan base would be a lot more connected instead of being divided. And that's the problem. One certain section of fans want to go that way. One certain section of fans want to go this way. We need to come to a joint agreement where we're meeting in the middle. And because that middle is so wide open, because you've got one side going one way, got one side going the other, this is what happens. But Danny B's telling it how it is. And that's what I like about his comment. If we give Maguire a new contract, someone needs sacking at the club. They need to be fired on the spot. And I don't want Maguire playing on Monday. I'm done with Harry Maguire. I'm absolutely done. But if they pick him, that's on the football club as a whole. I don't want Maguire getting picked. I don't want him getting selected. Enough is enough now. Amirom has got to stop picking Maguire because he ain't good enough. He's never been good enough. They should have never went anywhere near. I'll keep 7, maybe 8. The rest can piss off. I've mentioned 16 players in this live look ahead for the Newcastle game that United need to get rid of. We need to clear deck. We need to get rid of at least 16. I think 7 to 8 is probably the maximum we'll get rid of. I don't think that's enough, though. I've mentioned 16 players that United need to clear deck of. And if they keep them, in 2 to 3 years' time, we're going to be in exactly the same position again, sacking another manager. And I still think that will happen. I still think somewhere along the way, they'll end up getting rid of Amirom and blaming him. That's my big fear. And I hope that doesn't happen. So I'd say about the team that going on Monday, I think we are in a lot worse position. Well, of course we're in a worse position. We are fucking 14th in the Premier League. We're on 22 points from 18 games. We're on our worst run of form since 1932. You've got to question everything from top to bottom of this football club. How have we ended up getting in this position? Can you rank the players who need to leave from 1 to 16? Can you rank them? Yeah, I can. It's not difficult. Onana, Bandia, Victor Lindelof, Johnny Evans, Harry Maguire, Luke Shaw, Malacia, Marcus Rashford, Anthony, Hoyland, Xerxes, Tom Heaton, Bruno Fernandes, Casemiro, Ericsson. That's at least 15 I can name at the top of my head that need to be shifted. That's a lot easier. And Delo. Delo is the 16th. Some of those 16, yeah, I've not done it in order who I want to get rid of first, or I've just done it as a whole who should be got rid of. All those 16 should be told. And I agree with everybody in the live chat. And please do subscribe, everyone, if you're new to this channel. I'd really appreciate it because I want to start building this community and get more United fans on this channel to start banging their drum so we can get our voice heard a little bit more. It's easier to pick who keep than list. You need to leave at least. It's easier to pick who keep than it's easier to pick who can keep than list you need to leave. I said last year we'd be a mid-table team if we don't do proper clear out. Delo too. Shouldn't number 1 be Marcus? I'm getting a bit fed up of Marcus Rashford because that is all we're hearing. Why is Marcus Rashford not in the team? Why is Marcus Rashford not in the squad? Why is Marcus Rashford not being picked? Why is he not being selected? Because he made that statement. He came out and basically said, I want to go. I'm ready for the next step. I'm ready for the next chapter. The big indication and the message that needs to be there, get the fuck out. That should be the morale. That should be the no shit, no bollocks, no crap. We are going to get rid of you then. If you're going to come out and make a statement like that and you want to go, piss off. It's not difficult. It's really not that difficult. And if Marcus Rashford has got that mentality because he's too busy going out clubbing, going out drinking, trying to go and get laid, that's fine. If Marcus Rashford wants to do that, be my guest. I'm not stopping you. But you're going to end up like George Best because that's the way you're going, mate. You're going to end up like George Best and look what happened to him. God bless him. God bless his soul. You're going to end up in the same problems George Best ended up in. You go to club for club and you end up with health problems. Yeah. You can end up with health problems. Marcus Rashford's focus on football is gone. He doesn't like it he's not being picked. He clearly doesn't like it he's not being selected. But that is because he's made that statement. And what I'm hearing from ex-fucking Premier League players, and John Obi Mikel got on my fucking tits yesterday saying, I don't think it's Ruben Amirom making the decision. I think the club have gone over him. I think it's the club that's made the decision. No, it's Ruben Amirom picking the team. It's Ruben Amirom picking the squad. Ruben Amirom has made that decision, not the club, not the team, the manager. Who's making up these excuses? Like, it fucking infuriates me. We've got certain ex-Premier League players who apparently were really good in their time, basically coming out saying, I blame the club and all this, that and the other. Bad recruitment since before Ollie and building a team around overhyped big contract players and not listening to our scouts has crippled us. Exactly. We probably have one of the worst scouting performers in this team. Our scouting network is shit. It really, really is. Because we've brought this new left-back in, Diego Leon. I've never heard of him, never seen him play, I've never seen him kick a ball. And we've brought him in from this Paraguayan club. And apparently, though, that left-back ain't for the first team. That left-back's for the under-21s because he's nowhere near ready. And he's not even 18 yet. And it's like, I get that we're excited that we are finally starting to get these targets over on these younger players because we've missed out on so many like Alvarez and Caicedo, who is at Chelsea and obviously former Man City player who's now at Atletico Madrid. I'm glad we're now getting to those targets and getting those players in. You're telling me we've still got a left-back problem. We brought this left-back in, but he's not ready. He's only ready for the under-21 step at the moment. That isn't good enough. That isn't good enough. Because what's happened, we're still picking Diego Dalot at left-back. We're still picking Dalot at left-back. Can someone justify why we're doing that? Who's suggesting that's a good idea? I wouldn't say our scouts are shit. It's just when they refer players, they get ignored and the Glazers buy players who sell jerseys. Yeah, I get your view and I respect that opinion. But the scouts are bringing in players like this Diego Leon for the under-21. And it's like, we need a left-back now. Unless the scouts, like you said, have been completely ignored. And you're right about the jersey sellers. You're absolutely right. And it annoys me because we do need a left-back. And we've gone with Dalot still at left wing back. What is that all about? There's a clear indication there from Amirom. I'm stuck with Dalot. I can't pick anyone else. I'm stuck with overrated and overhyped Diego Dalot. I'm picking him because I've got no one else. Because if anyone noticed yesterday, Malacia was nowhere near the team. Malacia was nowhere near the squad. Clearly something has happened there. Between Malacia and Amirom. I think Amirom has figured out Malacia. Whoever signed Malacia off needs their head looking at. I'm not being nasty. I'm not trying to individual anyone. But you've got to question the state of mind or the brain cells that some of these people at this football club have got. Did anyone bother looking at Malacia's injury record before we purchased him? Did anyone look at the injury problems he had? Did anybody think about maybe we shouldn't go for that left back and go for somebody else? Because now we're stuck with Dalot at left back for the rest of the season because Malacia is no longer in the squad, no longer in the team. So something's happened there. Luke Shaw is injury prone. We should have got rid of him years ago and we kept him. And now we're stuck with Dalot at left back and Ten Hag did that and now Amirom's doing it. God fucking help us. God help us. Because if it's like that and we do nothing in January, we are fucked. A great example of this was Eric Ten Hag's first round window. Scouts referred to George Gomez. The Sandra Glazers cheaped out and got Eric Ten Hag, Sabitzer and Vegas on loan while Wolves signed. Yeah, exactly. Sabitzer was a good signing though. I thought Sabitzer was amazing. I don't know why we didn't sign him permanently. That's what I was questioning. That was my biggest problem. Why we never went and signed Sabitzer permanently. I don't understand it. I don't justify why we didn't. I can't understand what the reasonings were why we didn't bring Sabitzer in on a permanent basis. I do not understand that, and it doesn't make any sense. Because Sabitzer is better than Eriksen, he's better than Casemiro, and he's miles better than Mount. And I'll tell you what, if you had Agate, Mainu, Sabitzer and Fernandez, we might have been all right. But we are stuck with now, and I don't think anyone realised this. I don't think anybody realised, and please everyone do subscribe. I didn't realise yesterday, and a lot I noticed from yesterday's performance and yesterday's result. And I noticed the problem we've got. Yeah, exactly. Signing him out for 60 was a joke. Massive mistake. Sabitzer was there for 15 fucking million, and we didn't do it. We didn't do it. That's unforgivable in my view. That is unforgivable. Why we didn't do it, I just don't know. I don't know. But logically, the biggest problem we've got on Monday is that fucking state of the midfield. Because Bruno, unavailable due to suspension because he idiotically got sent off for the third time this fucking season. 3 red cards in one season is a joke. We've got no Agate. Agate, I didn't realise this yesterday. Agate is also suspended because he got booked yesterday. I didn't know that until it got pointed out. If Matt wasn't injury prone, he would have been a good signing. I'd say 50-50 on that. I would say 50-50. I don't necessarily agree, but I respect your view and opinion. I don't think that was worth going for. You could have got Maddison and Gravenberch for 60 million, 30 million each. Scouts order refer to Turam. We could have gone for free in the summer. We paid 65 million for Wheeland. Exactly. So yeah, the midfield, we've got no Agate. I didn't know that until today, till yesterday evening. We've got no Agate. We've got no Bruno. And the other problem we've got, which I didn't know until the full-time whistle yesterday, Kobe Mainu limped off yesterday, and that's why he got subbed off and went straight down the tunnel. So we've got a problem, and we've got a crisis in the midfield because we've got no Bruno, we've got no Agate, we've got no Mainu, who is injured again. Since Mainu's come back from the Euros of England, look at all the injuries he's got. Look how many problems he's had since Gareth Southgate put him in that team. Even though he was our best midfielder in that whole fucking tournament with Bellingham and it was working maestro performances for England, the problems with Mainu, he's having to play. The problems with Mainu, he's having to play because Eriksen is shit. Casemiro's done. Mainu's having to play because the rest aren't good enough. And Mount's in the same equation as Eriksen and Casemiro. Neither of them are good enough anymore. And nor is Mount. At least Mason Mount gives his bare minimum to the fans' demand, effort, desire, and professionalism. I get that. I do get that. But Mainu's having to play because the rest of the midfield we've got is pants. So we've got no Mainu, and I wish we did have Mainu available, and I wish we had Agate. We've got no Mount. So that's midfield problem number 4. So welcome back to the midfield, Eriksen and Casemiro. That on Monday absolutely terrifies me. That on Monday absolutely wants to make me shit myself. We have gone back to the 2 midfield solutions that were, in fairness, good in season 1 under Ten Hag, got figured out in season 2, and in season 3, they shouldn't be at this football club. They got kept on. Why? Why were both of them kept? Why were they not sold? Why were they not replaced? We are back to the midfield problems we had last season because we've got no one fucking else. And the problem with that is, if the Mainu injury is bad, we've got no subs for the midfield option off the bench. We've got no options to come on and change that midfield if it needs changing. So Casemiro and Eriksen, do not be surprised if both play over 90 minutes on Monday because we've got no one else. Collier, Casemiro, I would play 2 mids weekend. We're fucked. We're fucked. Yeah, we're absolutely fucked. We're screwed. Because if Eriksen and Casemiro then get injured, where's the midfield gone? We haven't got no midfielders left. That is on Bruno and Agate for getting fucking suspended. Bruno should have known better instead of getting himself sent off again. Agate, fancy putting in a tackle knowing if you put this tackle in or a foul, you're going to miss the Newcastle game. And you've gone and done it. So well done, Agate. And Mainu is having to play because the rest of our midfield is absolutely shit. So, and I don't want to use Collier. I know there's a lot of hype and a lot of optimism around Toby Collier, and I get that. But deep down, there needs to be a conversation. Is Collier really good enough in that midfield? Let's be honest. It's a straight yes or no answer. Is Collier really ready? For me, it's a blatant no. Dangle or one, you should be given a chance. There's nothing left to lose. Well, there could be nothing left to lose unless we get relegated and we lose again on Monday, because 2025 is going to be shit. The start of 2025 for Manchester United is going to be shit, because the only way we sold Maxi Odali, he was ready and better than Collier. Yeah, that is true. We sold way too many youth players that were ready and then were never given a chance. But I think probably the reason why that is they weren't good enough. That's why a lot has been got rid of, because I think a lot of these players that are brought in through the academy and the youth aren't good enough. And this is why we got rid. But it terrifies me that those are the midfield options for Monday. We don't have no one on that bench as a backup. We've got Toby Collier, who's going to be the backup to Eriksen and Casemiro, because we've got no Mount, no Mainu, no Bruno, and no Agate. God forbid, if Casemiro or Eriksen pull their hamstring or do their knee or do a muscle, we are stuck with Collier. We're stuck with Collier. What the fuck is that about? We're stuck with Toby Collier. I mean, God help us. Absolutely God help us. And as for the attacking front three, it might benefit. It might benefit Bruno and Agate not playing, because it might benefit us chucking Garnacho back in. And I know Garnacho has again thrown his toys out the pram. He doesn't like it and don't understand why he isn't in the team. By the way, you're a regular watcher of the United Stand. Your impression of how early was Goldbridge-esque. Thank you. I will take that. I've never... Thank you. And again, I have a lot of respect for the United Stand. I have a lot of respect for Mark Goldbridge. I love the United Stand. I mean, they speak the sense. And I think that's why I've taken on this. Because I tell it how it is. I just tell the truth, and I'm just going to be honest. If people don't like the honesty, then don't watch the channel. Don't watch the content. But at least you've got fans like me who are being able to express how it actually is. How it actually comes about. It just infuriates me that I think a lot of our fans and a lot of our supporters are in complete fucking denial. I really want them to go full. I want Gordon Ramsay to go full on some of these fans, to get them out of the denial, to get them out of their old habits and their old ways and change them for the better. Because I'm just fed up with fans, supporters not getting on and everyone being connected as a fan base. This is the problem. But I think the big problem is going to be the midfield for Monday. That's my big problem. But it might, like I said, it might be worth chucking Garnacho back in the front three, put him back on the left. You've go with Casemiro and Eriksen in the midfield too. You're going to have to try. We're going to have to use the left wing back, even though we don't want to do it. I don't want to do it, but that might be the only option. Ahmad, for me, will be the only one who is guaranteed a name on the team sheet. So we stick him in on the right wing. Mazraoui at right wing back. Ahmad on the right wing. We then go with Højlund down the middle, which God knows what could go wrong there. And you chuck Garnacho back in, because it might be the opportunity now for some of these players to step up. But I'm not confident. I'm not feeling that optimistic, especially the last three results. Most fan base are like spoiled kids throwing their toys out the pram. Yeah, that's the problem. The too much disconnection. But like I said, all we can do on Monday is hope for the best. All we can do now is hope and pray we get some kind of a result. I think another defeat, United are in crisis. Not like we're in crisis enough already. United are in a mess, and it is a massive mess. I don't know how we're going to dig ourselves out of this mess. I don't know what the outcome is going to be on Monday, but we need 3 points. I think failure to win. Could you imagine if everyone below us on Sunday and Monday win their games? Imagine that. Imagine if everyone below us and above us all win their games and United go down to at least 16th, 17th. That bottom 3 is getting closer and closer. that dreaded dotted line is getting inch by inch closer to Manchester United's name dropping into the relegation places. And again, that might be the only way, is we get relegated and we rebuild from scratch. But I'm worried that the rumours tonight that United are on the verge of bankruptcy. United are on the verge of bankruptcy. And that scares me. Because if this club dies, I don't know how I'm going to be able to come back to football. Because supporting Manchester United, I've done it since I was a kid. I've seen the ups, I've seen the downs, more ups and downs than the last few seasons, I would say. But I've seen the greats, I've seen the trophies, I've seen the rewards that this club can give you. But if we lose Monday, United are in big, big trouble. If I'm not wrong, Man United have the biggest fan base world, so it's inevitable that there is disunity. Most so-called fans you see online might even be rival fans trolling. Yeah, could be right. Could be absolutely right. But let's see what happens Monday evening, come the full-time reaction, come the full-time whistle, Old Trafford. I'm going to go 2-0, but that's being hopeful. That's being optimistic. But all I can say is let's see what happens Monday night, come the full-time whistle. So I hope you've enjoyed this live look ahead. Please hit the like button. Please keep subscribing to the channel. United Red Devils 20 on YouTube. Share the video, hit the tweet button, hit the retweet button. Please go and give me a follow on my socials. I'm on Twitter, I'm on TikTok, and also on YouTube as well. And obviously enjoy your rest of your Friday evening. Stay safe, be nice, be kind to each other. Please join me once that full-time whistle goes from Old Trafford on Monday night. We need 3 points. We need to win because the relegation places are getting closer and closer. Do you think we should have sold McTominay? I don't know. It's hard to answer that question, but I think that's another debate for another day. But like I said, let's see what happens Monday. Enjoy your festive evening. Enjoy your weekend as well. And I hope you all have a fantastic new year. Hope 2025 is a great year for all of you. You're all amazing. You're all legends. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Stay safe, be nice, and be kind to each other. You're all legends. You're all legends. I'll see you guys all on the next one.